be doing Last Impact 45, gonna be explaining as I go along, and I got the lad Mushi here commentating. He also runs this game. And no more to explain, time to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Go, good luck. Yep, if you haven't seen Last Impact in the last, I don't know how many SRM marathons, well, you're in good luck, because here we are back with Last Impact today. 45 star is a pretty interesting category choice. Tala, do you have the time or willingness to explain, or should I give a quick intro to the category?
As soon as I get started, I'm gonna be explaining. I'm gonna start by just clipping through here, because you know there's no collision in these stairs. Doing course 5 first.
Yep.
We're getting the same stars as in 80. I'm gonna be comparing to the 80 star route a lot, so...
And yeah, I mean, course 5 is a joke because of that collision, which perfectly solves up Last Impact, basically. You're gonna see... Well, hopefully we don't, but we are probably going to see many instances of collision where the game just doesn't have floors or doesn't function at all where it's supposed to do, or it just throws invisible walls at us. It's one of the two. Or maybe both, but something is definitely going to happen with collision when you're playing Last Impact. Unless maybe version differences? Tala, am I going to guess that this is 1.2? Probably because you went for Red Tower intended there.
Yes, this is...
and usually there's a...
You know, this is version 1.2 and you bet that I'm going to do this.
Oh, hell yeah, yep, the camera spin. Something about centering the camera behind Mario-ish.
Yeah,
which was,
version 1.2 exclusive. You can't do this in earlier versions.
Camera the hack.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So next, let's do Shooting Star. This is RNG based.
Oh, nice. So yeah, what Tala is not doing, because version 1.2 actually does not allow it, is a number of BOJs, which are the most we were going to see are in this course, but yeah, all of them are just not happening, which is why we saw how to climb the Red Tower intended, if you're a casual, and do not know how to direct your backwards swung jumps directly where you need to go. Same applies for the Shooting Star, although usually it's a harder BOJ and saves less time if you try to do it for the Shooting Star to get fast, because it's also kind of cycle dependent.
Yeah.
I'm saying kind of because I'm still quite not sure what kind of drugs the Shooting Star cycles are taking, because sometimes really weird stuff happens with that star, but luckily nothing like that in this case.
Also, thanks for Lux everyone. I'm not really focusing on chat right now.
Yeah, me neither. I wonder if I should be switching between Twitch or Discord, because the idea kind of is to watch the stream with less delay, but at the same time I want to see chat.
Yeah, that's a problem. So we're doing this skip here, otherwise you're gonna have to climb the whole level.
Yep, and I played this level just a couple of days ago and I figured out, damn, when you try to play the level intended, and you have been speedrunning this game for years instead of playing it intended, it's kind of hard to figure out what the hell Kaza intended you to do in this level. There's
some structures to climb and the collision is messed up, at least here in version 1.2.
Call take a look, I guess.
Yep. So let's start here, the platform cluster. This star is pretty janky.
Yeah, right, because you're gonna see certain colorful, just moving out platforms. I don't know how to explain the movement of the platforms, except for, well, Super Mario Galaxy. In short, if you wanna, like, analyze Last Impact for where it took, quote-unquote, inspiration from, you're gonna see probably half of the ROM hack is just Super Mario Galaxy in disguise. We'll get to there slowly, I hope. Okay, so that's the... Yep. With a funny stair climb, and then the platform cluster itself, which looks suspiciously like Space Junk Galaxy.
Yep. So, I got better start by talking about what I have to talk about. So, next we're doing course 3. In 80 you get all 7 stars, I'm getting 6. I'm skipping hundreds here.
Oh, fair enough. Yep. I'm gonna have to remember, like, how many stars exactly we have in 80 by the end of the first overworld. I think it was something like 30.
35 almost.
Yeah, depending on how you count the Bowser area. Yeah, 30 or 32, 4, something like that. Yeah, basically it should be enough so that we can skip a little bit here for this route. well, the skip is not going perfectly right now. There's a skip over here with basically frame walking up the hill.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately,
it's even more trickier to do here in 1.2.
Oh damn it, yep. Like the subtle changes to collision really start affecting you when you are dealing with the skips of a speedrun of a game called Last Impact. Somewhat unfortunate. I can't tell if that was because we hit a wall or something, or the frame walking didn't work anymore. But goddammit. Anyway, we are out of here.
Right, so the main goal right now is we need to get 30 stars, and we're gonna be getting all of them in the World 1 right now.
Wait, did you say 30?
Yeah, 30.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I will explain why later. So now to the goal 45 star. This is like essentially the ISC for Bowser second boss stage. And the requirements for intended to be met are kind of a bit like arbitrary, I would say. But so essentially, at 45, well, there's so much going on. So essentially, Bowser 2 is a factory level and its gates are closed. And the way to enter intended is by using a cannon. And Cannon Bomb tells you when you go to Overworld 2 that you need more stars to open it. And you need 45 stars. But you get 45 stars and you're in Overworld 2. Cannon Bomb says, the cannon is almost ready, don't you want to say goodbye to Princess Peach first? And when you go to do that, a cutscene appears where the actual main enemy of the game is. And after that cutscene ends, the cannon is open and you can enter Bowser 2 intended. So that is kinda like the rules I'm going for. We're gonna be entering Bowser 2 with the cannon. So the priority is we have to trigger the cutscene as 45 stars.
Yep, very good summary. Not too much I can say there, because Blimp and White House seems to be going well, especially with the like balloon blimp thingy being anchored in 1.2 until you actually step on it, so that like you don't need to chase it, which usually gives difficulty to casuals. As for the whole category itself, yeah, it's not really any percent or 100% or anything official, but it's a good balanced way, I suppose, to show parts of the game in ways we haven't seen before.
Mainly to have a short category that you can de-roast pretty quickly, considering that submissions initially were mostly Kaizo.
Yep.
Lol, Katse.
Indeed.
It's
yeah, we do have like
it's like
20 star, which is a bit more official category, but I guess it's a little bit too short. We can showcase more of the game this way.
Yeah, you can see a bit more of the game. So yeah, Katse, good morning, I guess. Hope you're ready for your run. Yo, Greg, thanks a lot.
Good morning, indeed. You get free Moshi at 7 AM also.
Yeah.
It's quite the experience.
So last star is... no, 2 more stars. So reds, we're gonna be doing reds alone.
Yeah, the last star itself is act specific, so if we want to grab it, and it's not the slowest thing in the world, so you gotta consider it, we also have to get the reds before that. Which they may be like tied to swimming, but in this case it's not too annoying. Hopefully, unless we see a certain specimen around the place. Oh, that scared me on the camera. Like rare Boba sighting for like only 2 frames, and it almost appears as if he's entirely moving.
Oh, so last star, like Mushi said.
Over there. Yeah, of course, as always, there's war at large across the whole ROM hack. There's also a bit of like on a local scale in the individual levels. And we are probably not gonna concern ourselves with most of it, except for this one. There's just a whole lot of pushing of this giant drain stopper thingy, so I might as well also mention that, yep. Yeah, that cork. I have also been calling it cork for years, but apparently drain stopper is an official term that Kaze didn't invent from German, so yeah, there we go. Yeah, and the idea is that apparently the ocean level is controlled by this thing, which, go figure how it works. I didn't know that this place is a giant bathtub. But yeah, and the Koopa at the start of the level will be sad only for this mission, in order to indicate that this is a problem going on with this level. Otherwise the water level is quite high up and the Koopa is just enjoying his day on the beach. That's the war of the level.
Alright, so we're doing course 4 next. Let's do
And,
the temple skip first.
Ooh, nice one.
So this we're gonna be getting the same stars as in 80, so 6 stars. There are some longer stars here in this level. When I did my timings for this, well, so just so you know, routing this game is very complex. And I timed 2 stars in course 9 that were like fast enough, but I timed the mermaid race with the beast star that you have to engage both together, and the combined time of those is faster than the combined time of the course 9 stars, so I skipped course 9 in this run just to get the 2 extra stars in course 4 here.
The entirety of course 9. That's gonna be interesting because in 80 star you get 6 stars in course 9.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, at that point of the game you're like far enough to be like into the 40-ish, probably straight up 45 star.
Yeah, my
like
priority
margin.
was I will explain it when I get the 30 stars like I mentioned. Alright, second try.
Fair enough. Yep, so this is a simple, although not the easiest, but also not too difficult.
Yeah,
low
this,
kick skip that skips an entire puzzle section,
yeah,
which no one wants to play, let me tell you.
When I first played this hack, I just got entirely lost. I brute forced my way through there until I eventually got to the star, but yeah, definitely it's better to do a skip, and I should be going for another wave. Let's race now.
We are going into the basically the same area second time, except we don't go in the water temple sub area, but we do need the frog suit for this one. It's mandatory, else you are not going to survive. Yeah. I also checked for this in my replay from last week, which is basically how far and how quickly can you get to this area we're going to see right now with just regular Mario. No, you don't have a chance. So Frog Mario gives you much higher swimming speed and also removes the little air meter that you previously saw in course 3, indicating that well, you're running out of air, which is not tied to the HP in this row hack specifically. Another galaxy recreation, I suppose? Yeah, this is the mermaid race. It's like a regular race, except you also have to catch the waypoints, aka the underwater rings in this case.
Yeah, and
the first one that was kind of impaling the ground.
Very easy to miss since you're swimming pretty fast.
Yep, sub 30, that's actually a good one. Like, a really good one, I mean. I don't remember when was the last time I got a sub 30 on the race. Maybe I need to practice some more. Kazakh copium, yep.
Let's do the stars on this side.
Yeah, for now we are done with the other area. We are gonna be back to check it out for a little bit in a certain special moment, but don't worry about it for now. Plus the mermaids called us like, I don't know, slow or something rude about not being fast and water based like them, so yeah. We don't need to deal with them.
We proved them wrong with the frog suit. That would be kinda cheating.
Yeah, but I mean, they are already cheating by nature, so... compared to a human anyway. So yeah, the cracking cave, a bunch of boulders falling on your head, you want to avoid those, and you want to avoid as much as possible being in water, because any kind of swimming or any kind of dipping in deep water is slow. We mostly managed to do it in a pretty good way in this case.
Yeah, I made my way to get around it.
Okay. Which means that, oh, but yep, this is some example of that collision that I mentioned earlier. Like, it would be difficult to make a comprehensive list of all the things that are like feeling off with last impact collision, especially 1.2, but yeah, just have that example over there of what happened with Tala's movement against the slopes. Basically, in short, Kaza was trying to make slopes more lenient, and that makes for some really weird steep slopes throughout the game, depending on how you approach them. Otherwise, we have collecting the silver stars over here in this spiders area. There, yep, with some like gripping sand collision. Same as in Tiny Huge, I won't even deal with the huge piranha plants area. Except over here it's used to indicate spider webs. I don't know if the spiders are the skeeters that we see in this area. I don't know what the anatomy of a skeeter is like, and if they can produce all that stuff around the cavern, but there we are.
Yeah. Okay, time to get reds along. It's pretty fast.
Yep. Same as in 80 in this case.
Yep.
No white core strain. And at least we gotta give it to Kaze here, I suppose, for kind of spreading out the red coins properly across levels. Like, either they're in the same general area in a level, or sometimes they're divided across like two differently themed places, but in no case we will have to go around the entire level to collect the red coins, as far as I can remember at least. Or you might still need to, but it's not gonna feel like as much of a chore as in other ROM hacks, because still there's some kind of reason behind the red coins being scattered around the level. Case in point where we are already done with the red coins.
Yep.
Easy stuff.
So yeah, we have 15 stars. We have opened the weight course 5, but it doesn't matter because we already got stars there.
Yep.
Alright, so
And
last
now
time.
that leaves us with Save the Mermaids. For some reason, even though they were rude to us earlier. But yeah, we have this fish boss who has got out of the cage somehow. Good job, mermaids, you did very well. And we need to work him back, which Tala did smoothly.
Yeah, this star being pretty short compensates the longer the mermaid race takes, but made me getting these stars instead of the 2 stars in course 9, like I said.
Yep.
Alright, so
it's basically
the strat here is to reset the game for the next level. That's because, well, I didn't do the prologue sequence where the piranha plants fell by the kiosk where Peach was. And
this is the price to pay for it because of some triggers, particularly courses 1 and 2, which I think course 1 actually does get re-enabled somehow, but the course 2 pipe definitely disappears until you reset the game.
So I'm doing this level first. You're normally, I think I go for this later in my 80-star route, but I'm going for here now because for the reason I mentioned I need 30 stars.
Yep, basically the difference is that well, whoops, now we're gonna hear more of the level though, because my only commentary for this level was going to be above the clouds tower, please. And just, like, the level itself is also great, as opposed to the other clouds levels, which also do not happen to reuse this music anymore, but that's another topic. The point with this level, in the route specifically, is that in 80 star you need to do a return trip because of the Peach cutscene Tao mentioned earlier. Anyway, and in this case we see it towards the end of the run, so we might as well clear this place now. Have as many stars as possible.
Now we are gonna be actually doing course 2. Doing the same stars as in 80, everything except the hundreds.
Yep, fair enough, because yet again we are gonna see the thing I kind of mentioned earlier. Later on we will see the reds are kind of cool to collect, especially in a fast manner. Hundreds are a chore, so yeah, just don't. Now we are in the Snake Temple, introducing our first power-up. No, wait, second power-up of the run. We already had the Frog Suit, which is what? Straight from Sunshine instead of Galaxy this time. Quite original. So yeah, the idea is to try to use Flood and Wall Kicks in order to get to the top where the star is as fast as possible, not really concerning ourselves with the giant snake whose back we used for a hot second. There's a way to do this without the Flood, but it's a little bit more involved, so yeah, this was still a pretty fast way to get up there.
Right, I think I'm gonna be doing all the Flood stars first. Especially because this one I managed to, I don't know, softlock myself.
Oh, wait, Soko? Gotta hear the story here.
Yeah, so basically, for this star you have to use Flood to clean these mud stains on this pyramid. And one of my runs that I did, don't remember the category, one of them didn't appear, and I couldn't get the star because of that. But we got all of them.
Yep, flawless execution this time.
Right, we're gonna be doing the puzzle battle next. So this star got nerfed in this version. In earlier versions you had to do 3 moves on the puzzle to open the gate. In this version you only have to do 2.
Yeah, which, fun fact, there is a hint for this star, where a certain bump in the level tells you what the first 2 moves of the puzzle are out of the, turns out, 3 moves. With the nerf, it just tells you the first 2 moves, the hint wasn't changed, so it just sounds weird. But I mean, who reads text in ROM hacks anyway?
Yeah. So we have 20 stars, we have opened the way to the next part of the overworld. We still have a few more stars left to collect.
Yep.
So spiky stones.
Let's see what kind of mood the spiky stones are in today. They seem to be going good. Well, with their trajectories at least. Yeah, the punching is another story because, again, as the star name describes, they have spikes they bite with, quite literally. Now we dealt with them. Yeah, sometimes they can get stuck in really weird positions, and I mean literally stuck, like manage to find themselves a hidey corner in the geometry.
I think I've had one just clipping somewhere and falling off of the level, so yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. I actually had that last week, or at least I think I had that because I was playing this level with Angle Glide, and for some reason this level, normally this level, is broken on that plugin, so like half of the level is just missing.
Yeah, texture boy. So we're doing reds. This is actually the inverse order that you collect the reds, like when you do it with hundreds for 130. Kinda was confused at first because you gotta run 130 a lot first before moving to other categories.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit, because I'm on 80 star runner primary instead of 130, I was kind of surprised to hear that just now. Probably makes sense. I also did like 2 130 star runs, but I admit to hell with remembering coin routes. They might be my kryptonite with speedruns. So yeah, how has the 130 star runs been going? I don't know if you did many recently, but you certainly did more than me, so...
Yeah, I got my 246, I believe. Almost both AP, but course 9 was behaving nice, so I missed AP bot because of that, but other than that, that run was pretty good. Especially for this, because this version is actually slower because of the lack of all the skips.
Yep, like Kaza did several speedrun related improvements in this version, tried to make it more viable for speedrunning, but he also removed BOJs via the attempt to fix invisible walls by like changing the behavior of ceilings with them pushing out, so it kind of became a trade-off balance, and yeah, I'm not sure, but if Tala says the other version is slower, then oops, there we go.
So the goal is to ground pound 3 of these body segments of the enemy.
Yeah, the wings or the head don't count, however the head can be used in order to ground pound to one body segment that's kind of connected to it and also still stay on the snake boss. And then you can also ground pound in the middle between 2 segments and get them both at the same time. Right. Doing both those things makes for the fastest possible kill of the snake boss. Didn't happen here, but let me tell you, it could have been more of a tragedy than this.
Yeah, and it has I believe the double happened in my 130 run I did in SRM.
Yeah, like the snake boss is easily a volatile place where you can have a time save or a time loss depending on what your PB did in the...
Yeah, so we're gonna be going to these palm trees here, we're gonna be picking this coconut. We're gonna put this in a basket that hungry Yoshi wants fruit.
Another very exciting mission, taking upon a mission that people totally don't hate from Sunshine. I see that Kazi has been learning his lessons well. Just have to mention. Especially in the last part, like you're basically pushing the coconut to the basket, into the basket. And then you do some magic trickery and do not talk to Yoshi, but get him to spawn your star. What kind of inputs are accepted here? Because usually I do a jump kick, but you seem to...
I just everything with the joystick, the control stick.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I
won't even ask how that Yoshi was coded. Because that's the theme of Last Impact. Custom coding! But it's junk and we don't ask how it works, it just works maybe.
So we're going to skip here, since we can't do VLJs.
This is one of about, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 skips for this star. This star is just plentiful of skips. There's another one which is a BOJ, but again, those are close to impossible in version 1.2, so we have to settle for this. Still though, it skips doing the intended path for this star, which is
Pretty long.
involves hanging on some flying dandelions, I think.
Yeah, dandelions.
Yep.
So if these yellow enemies are fuzzies, like the ones that drive you all crazy.
Yep.
And we're gonna
And
see
crazy in the
effect.
case of SM64 means,
And
oh no,
gonna fall.
means Chaos Edition. Yep. I don't think we have Chaos Edition. The closest we have to that madness is Releasio in the marathon schedule, but yeah, that's one of the Chaos Edition effects. On top with literal controlled dizziness. So, okay, this one should be safe at least, even though we got fuzzy. There we go. Yep, most average touch fuzzy get dizzy execution. Because like it can get still much worse. You can fail many more times. Wow. Last impact, ladies and gentlemen.
So let's rescue the rabbit.
Yep. Start with the little rabbit, that's somehow it got itself locked in that giant cage on the left over there that we're going to see in the cutscene in a little bit. And one of these tap-taps contains the key. By contains, I mean literally digested within itself. The other tap-taps, when killed like this, contain like 2 coins for some reason. Yeah, you make sense out of that.
So now it's time to do an epic like cutscene overwriting to get the star a bit faster.
We squeeze ourselves between the 2 bunny parents, each of which has a unique text box, and overlapping 2 text boxes usually makes Super Mario 64 go crazy, such as giving Mario control during cutscenes. Or text boxes. Okay, I think up next is, okay, that was a BOJ attempt, but also we need to get out of there, because we can't. So up next is the Giant 3, which is a mostly pure platforming based star. I mean, one of those stars, the kind of which you would see in TikTok Hawk in Vanilla SM64. Which I adore, honestly, but at the same time it will be last impact if we only had this star, this type of star throughout the run. So, yep, it was basically kind of the break from doing stuff like tricks, exploring gimmicks. So I hope you enjoyed it, because it was a fast one.
Yep, very fast.
Yeah, speaking of going back to tricks and gimmicks and stuff, we have a little buddy over here near the tree, on the side. It's Regu only, nobody has talked to him in a long time, so now we are playing tag, and it's already over.
Yep.
We are friends now, so we are gonna get a star for this, and unfortunately we are never going to interact with this monkey ever again. Good friendship.
The best friendship ever.
Yep. Mario serially killing the entire Mushroom Kingdom population and doing other unspoken war crimes in order to collect stars.
Oh, so yeah, the last star we're gonna be getting reds. Don't know if I didn't mention that also in 80 you get all 7 stars here, I'm only getting 6, everything except 100s.
Yeah, for course 100 coin star is one of those that makes the cut for 80 star, as in being fast enough, combined especially with the reds. Over here we
have more fuzzies.
Deal with that. Oh yeah, that's right. Careful with the fuzzies, because if you catch one, well, it's not gonna be as dangerous
and your angle is gonna change and you're very much screwed up. Your heart's
yeah, for practical purposes, you're probably not gonna completely lose it like in the Windy Bridges section, but you will probably still need to stop in place, because you still will not be allowed to do meaningful movement with your input.
Alright, so we have 30 stars, and the reason for that we need all these stars is because these Goombas appear at 30.
Wow, time flies, really? Oh, so that's why we need... Right, Goomba Bros.
Yep, I do this star way later in my 80 routes, but for routing this category and avoid too much backtracking, I get this as soon as possible. No, thanks for Lux. Not focusing too much because too much is going on. But
Haxkill and Gang, yep. Thanks for
so yeah, we defeated them very easily, and we're gonna get a star.
They went to show us their pancake formation, and for some reason that means they're not coming back, and they're also leaving us a star. Very kind of them. very nice Goomba boss. If only they weren't that, as I call them, quirky.
So now it's time to go past the door that opened at 20 stars, and we're gonna be doing the Bowser one.
Yep.
So we're gonna
It's
be doing the same thing as in 80, we get both stars. And
Okay, now that's
I'll
interesting.
as well, because, well, in earlier versions you can build J to Overworld 2 through the door, but here you can, so I have to get the key.
Yep. Which honestly is I suppose it's a good argument to pick version 1.2 because at least the game forces you into doing a key fight. Meanwhile, I feel bad that I get the key while other like better players at movement in this game try to get the BOJ, because that BOJ sucks. There's no other way to put it. And in fact, the current world record in 80 star by Sigoto actually loses a minute to trying to get the BOJ, which he apparently got first or second try or just really quick in an earlier PB, which is kind of a shame, means the category can be pushed further, but it also means that if you want to do that, you're going to have a bad experience.
So there's a hidden star chilling over here.
Yeah, let's see what you do now for getting out of the hidden star. I mean,
I go around, there's a clip you can do in a wall kick, but I've never been able to get it.
Yeah, it's a little bit volatile. Man, we have to exchange some information, like apparently routing district and stuff like that. Last Impact Bootcamp time with the only 2 active players currently for the game, because no one else wants to run it, I wonder why.
And I'm the only 1.2 runner.
Yeah, that's true. Doesn't mean some things would not be interchangeable. Probably the ceiling clip, knowing how Kaze updates stuff, it might be even easier. That's just me chatting, but
yeah,
pretty.
So I do this the log right. I try to get the last 2 reds and the star without doing the right, but I always choked because you can see that there's not much room to work with on the edges, so I just do it anyway.
Yep. Even more importantly, there's not only like thin room to work with that is specifically a floor, but the thing around it is sloped inwards towards the lava.
Yeah.
So if you misstep, you actually slide inside, which, like, if it was a proper wall, maybe you would have been able to recover from that with the ledge up or something like that, but it's kind of cruel if you aren't careful there.
And also,
so I get it.
I wouldn't want to do the fight with very few HP.
That's true, actually. Yeah, if you gotta take it between the BOJ and the fight, it kind of gets intricate here. There's also the checkpoint that was available just before from right. It also gives you a choice, because if you do get the checkpoint but do not get the red coin star, you basically threw the run. But if you don't get the checkpoint, get the red coin star, and then die from HP afterwards, then you're losing even more time because, well, you didn't take the checkpoint. So, yeah, pick your poison. Basically every single move that you pick here will be poison, except be good at the video game and also have good luck with Bowser over here.
Yeah, second try not too bad.
Yep. Like, you can see his tail is spiked if you look closely at the tail itself, which means you are not grabbing the Bowser tail. Instead, Kaze inverted the boss fight, so that basically you're throwing the bombs at Bowser. That was the gimmick for this one. And that makes us out of the fear level. Thank God.
We're not done before going to the next level. We have one more secret stage that's over there. We're getting both stars like in 80. And there's BOJs here, but I can't do them, so I have to do intended ways.
Alright. I wonder if for the Code Bully a BOJ is actually faster or like relevant, because as you can see you can just take 2 platforms and then drop downwards and you're already
Also that shield is fire, you're gonna get burned.
True. I also tested if Fire Mario would protect you from the fire shield or give you any advantage. That is not the case for this boss. There's literally no reason to do like the intended question mark path for this level. You can just drop down here and try to be the bully if you know what you're doing. If not, you're probably gonna get burned, so good luck.
Alright, the other star is at the very end of the stage. That's where we're gonna be using the fire flower.
Oh boy, seeing this path intended kind of always gives me chills, especially on behalf of casuals, because there's a particular section we will be getting to in a little bit. So, the fire flower power. It works about as well as you expected. You throw fireballs, that's it. Unfortunately, no fire immunity or anything like that. There's shielded Goombas, the point with them is to... Oh yeah, right, there's no fall damage in 1.2. The deal with these boxes is that you kind of have to land on them without taking damage, because taking damage loses the power up, and you need the power up for those chandeliers to get to the end of the level. Fall damage is damage that also gets rid of your power up, and fall damage was removed in 1.2, which makes this part way easier. And also Paramaki 2 is a stable camera, which also makes this part easier. But if you're playing on one of the original versions, it's basically over when you get to that section.
So we're gonna be doing the desk here. There are red coins here.
Retro room full of nostalgic memories that we are not going to see because this is a speedrun, and finally giant desk. With the good old, you scatter your... damn it. Yeah, you scatter your supplies over the desk, and then you play the floor is lava in your head when you're boarding class. That's the inspiration for this level.
Yeah, this all the desk stuff has janky collision.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we definitely do not have simple geometry here, as you can see, even though you might argue that stuff like a pencil is pretty simple. But make no mistake, Mario 64 is going to complain about it. Especially when you're like Kaze and you for some reason do not really like collision maps too much, which could simplify the level geometry. No, we don't do that here. Let's see if we get the node jump. Nope. Like, you can land on that node reasonably and try to do stuff with it instead of lava bouncing there, especially 1.2, because if again fall damage, that's
I'm gonna do a funny...
Oh, hope it works out nice. Okay, well, you died, but you got the star. Because it deliberately enabled dead star grabs for this wrong hack in like all occasions.
So in 80 you get 4 stars, I'm getting only 3. I'm skipping Feed the Chomp because it's pretty long.
From a little bit earlier, Agwap asking, is there fire immunity in Galaxy? I don't actually think so, so yes, at least he's staying faithful to the original, but he could have made it an improvement still by giving fire immunity, I feel like. Over here instead we have one of the infamous moments of this game, if only because we have to make a little reference to frame perfection here for the history of it. Yeah, basically we have stable camera in this one, which is not the case in the other versions, and we are doing... Oh boy, that was scary. We're doing quite the skip over here, not using the conveyor to get to the end of the level, which is possible because of those railings and obstacles in the way. Kind of ironic, kind of cool. Unless you are the one who has to do the skip. So I'm glad it went first try.
Not only the factory, we have one more star.
Yep, factory inspection. Which, spoilers, after this one, I think the factory is gonna be closed forever, because I don't think this one holds any kind of inspection with a passing grade. It's just... Yep, you want safety hazards? You've got the place. This place is the embodiment of safety hazard. For example, spikes that retract on a timer, which suspiciously act like lava, and also you can pass between them, which I guess gives it some plus points, but god damn. We have the cookie production down there, but we are gonna skip it to take the work elevator and do the last section, which speaks for itself. Holy crap. Certain target review for speedruns: either gotta watch your movements, stay around the corners or in the gaps between the rotating fires in order to avoid damage and get here as fast as possible. I wonder what the third star will be. Actually, I think I have a hunch, but let's see if you...
Yeah, I said that I skip Feed the Chomp.
Oh, right, yep. I'm gonna say I'm a little bit rusty because I haven't done Last Impact 8 in a hot second, and this is one of the less memorable levels, so one of the levels that I...
Yoshi for this one.
Yep. Rather want to forget exists, but there is one unforgettable feature in the level. It's definitely Yoshi himself. Another spoiler, there is a code that basically asks you about your favorite color in the minigame house that we unlocked earlier with the 20 stars. It basically affects the color of Yoshi you would use over here.
Yeah, the one where you give the coconut to.
Yep. As well as this one, actually. All Yoshi instances, which is all 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Those ones. No, wait, 3. Wool Park. I forgot Wool.
So we skip for Course 7 because it's slow as hell, so we're gonna do Course 8 instead.
Yeah, that actually also happens in 80 star. Fun fact, course 7 that we skip is the only course that we don't get any star from in the 80 star route. This could be changed with one particular star, but we're not gonna discuss it because too hell with that.
Yeah, it's also not viable in the 80 in this version.
Oh, right, yep. I keep forgetting about the no BOJs.
So time to another
No,
dead
technically you
StarCraft
could
here.
do technically you could do one clip for that one, but that's chatting.
That was like
Dead
last
Star
frame.
Grab going fine. Yep. I have actually been scarred from life here from doing the Dead Star Grab, because there's actually a nasty invisible wall somewhere towards the middle of the platform, somewhere
Yeah,
around
I've hit
where you
it. I've
approach
hit
it.
it a few times.
Yep. I also
So
hit
it's
it
the last
just a
star I'm
couple of
getting.
times, but that's enough to make me act really stupid with the Dead Star Grab and actually lose time to not hitting the invisible wall, but also not grabbing the star there instead. So, yep, last impact again.
Yep. In 80 you get the silver stars here, but in 45 I skip them. It's pretty long.
Fair enough, we should be on the final stretch of getting the stars before we get into the juicy Bowser fights, and yep, silver stars, you definitely want to skip them. I like this slide, which is... It also defies the laws of physics and gravity, same as with climbing the volcano that we saw.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it, it's just cause I did something with slide physics again for that star in particular, for you to be able to take the very sharp turns on the slide. Instead we just skip part of it because it goes down and Mario also happens to go down. Yay for logic.
So you need 40 stars to enter course 10 here, so that's why it grows kinda like that. There's also some pretty fast stars here that you do in 80. I'm getting, I feel, yeah, the same stars getting 80.
Oh, the same stars. Okay, that's interesting.
Not sure if well, I didn't time any overworld travel. Oh, I missed. I didn't time any overworld travel. The time takes you to enter this level to see if like you could have gone for course 9. I just went by starting the level to get in the star.
I suppose that would be an extra tier of routing, like you don't only route the fastest stars and then put them together in the route, but you also make sure that when getting back to the level, you don't bleed that much time that the star becomes unviable. Which I admit I have never done something like that myself, so shout outs to people who do spend the effort on it. Speaking of effort, here's the major skip of this level, or at least out of the stars that we do in 45 and 80 star, which is this triple jump wall kick. Probably sounds simple because that's a thing we do all the time in ROM hacks. But make no mistake, because for this one you need to prepare well. You need a good camera angle, otherwise you're either not going to make the wall kick itself because you don't have a wall kick angle, or you're gonna be too far off from the ledge up there and you're going to miss it like Tala is doing right now, unfortunately.
Alright, third try.
Third time's the charm, there we go.
So intended for this star is very, very long.
You see those platform outlines, you're supposed to press the switch in the other part of the area and then get back, navigate like basically a second time around the level. And yeah, it's much slower if you get the triple jump wall kick, especially first try. So this speedrun is not void of cool skips, that's for sure. There's actually another little thing I found out on accident, that as a single starting you can kind of use the momentum thing that Last Impact has to clip inside the island, inside the the secondary area, without actually throwing the bomb to explode it, which I think is marginally faster, but yeah, we don't do that in full game, we screw that. Flip switch flipping. The other side cave area, which is unfortunately also pretty dangerous because of our favorite quicksand. I actually don't know if those are the objects called flip switches in Galaxy, but I actually never did my trivia for that one, and yeah. Oh, alright.
But just colloquially called panels.
Yep. But I suppose a much more important feature, or the quote-unquote feature, it's more like annoyance to talk about in this area, is that Kaza decided to smooth all the edges of all platforms, basically meaning you cannot ledge grab any of them. I don't know if that's intentional, but it sure as hell is very annoying and, in my opinion, unnecessary. Just makes the area more punishing, and I mean, yes, we are in course 10, but it's kind of cheap, especially when you put quicksand at the bottom all of a sudden. But enough of trash talking that area, we're out of it in a reasonable-ish amount of time. But still good for the Mario movement, definitely, and I think we're approaching the last star of this.
Yeah, one more star here. It's the password. You can what is it? Star 2? Yeah, Star 2 pretty much spoils it, and it loses the entire point of figuring out what to do for this star.
You could say that, but to me it's like just a good extra hint for the players who are not going to realize this is what's going on in this case. Or they might realize, but we might as well make them feel clever. Basically, you need to input the name of the ruler of the island, which is Kerma. Kerma Koopa, the giant Koopa who is actually a boss we saw for a hot second over there while Tala was climbing the vines. This is also more explicitly mentioned as a hint by the dead Bobobs who have dialogue
inside
in the area
cave
of the first star.
Alright, so time to get last star. So I'm gonna go be doing the return to level 1. I'm gonna just enter here to exit course. I'm gonna be fighting
Yep, I thought for a second you were
second
actually
Goombas
doing
here.
Gloomy Ambience, but surprise, it's Goomba Bros again!
And this spawn at 40,
Yeah.
so yeah, you have not much to work with.
Indeed. I see now all pieces fall into place. Be careful.
So I want you to look at
another
Peach very
piece.
well. Please look at Peach. Even though she's pretty far away.
Please look at Peach. Indeed. Also, like, basically flawless Goomba Bros
Check out
over
Peach,
here.
and she's gone now. That means that the game is ready to play the cutscene. So I need to re-enter the overworld, so I'm gonna enter minigame house here. Gonna wait for a bit, and then come back outside, and it's time for the cutscene.
Hell yeah, cutscene dependencies. Okay, here's our main villain of the game! MS Paint guy! Actually, he's called Trashay, but yeah.
So fun fact,
I'm saying MS
something
Paint
that I did in my PV because it's faster. If you go out of the minigame house while the loading transition is still happening, you'll get a black screen and part of the cutscene will play with a black screen. It's still fine, but yeah, got the transitions overlap.
Yeah, speaking of that cutscene, I also managed to get glitchy behavior with it, because the other day I did the sequence break for Bowser 2 by not using the cannon here, but doing the usual stuff that we are doing in 80, and that resulted at the end of the game in that cutscene for the villain stealing Peach also playing during the end credits, which is in the same area. So you get the Peach from the credits with the Peach from getting stolen at that point, and you basically get double Peach, one of them being impaled by the table.
Yeah, I had that funny while messing up with the Star Blade stuff here.
Yep.
Also, funny thing, if you game over in version 1.2, you don't get a game over, you just spawn outside, losing 1 life, so you will have 3 lives. But the problem is that, well, I don't do them in this category, you also don't do them in 80. There are some rainbow coin challenges that you do in a few levels that unlock some minigames. If you game over, you lose your rainbow coins and you have to get them again, regardless if you save. So even if you save the coins progress, if you game over, you lose the rainbow coins and minigames are locked again. I've had that happen during my first 130 that I did.
I see.
Don't think that happens in earlier versions.
And then casuals probably also have to mind that if they happen to game over randomly. Because Kaz definitely had good intentions, but of course didn't check across the entire game how removing the game overs the way he did is going to affect the rest of the game. And the rainbow coins have always given some particular problems, which I don't know how I can describe, but yeah, they're kind of junky.
So it's time for the boss.
And it's none other than Shadow Mario. And because it's a Mario clone, just as Mario who has 6 HP for this roll hack, just to be
And another funny weird fact,
another
funny weird fact, I had him clip out of this battle here, the battle arena, so pretty much getting you soft locked.
Have you ever played on not 1.2 to confirm if this is a version only thing? Because I've not seen that,
not,
and I hope I don't.
I have really not touched any version prior to 1.2.
Then yeah, I don't believe I see any changes in this boss fight, so in any case, yep, cover me scared for my next speedrun. Alright, but yeah,
just so you see that
it's not a big deal.
You can see that the cutscene, the star dance animation happens and he's not spinning because of that. But it's funny, it says you can't do it with any other hack.
I hope it's not being too dizzying for the people in the chat. We haven't asked, nobody has complained though, so it's on you guys.
Alright, so time to go to Overworld 3. In 80,
the actual...
to enter in 80 and 130, well, actually, for every category you do a skip to enter Bowser 2, but here you have to intend it. So this
For
is
Bowser 3 you enter intended in 80 and 130 because that's like 80 is kind of the requirement for Bowser 3 and 130 is 100%, so of course the shorter categories need a skip, which we are going to see over here. Another clip because Last Impact Collision is perfect, and here we are. Yep.
So
The main viewing
point of
guys
this
waiting
stage
for the stars.
is to activate some switches on top of these 4 towers here to enter the final fight.
And Tala is starting with what I'm personally going to call the most dangerous one because
Yeah, I do this
fire
one first.
contains lava. Yep, and then some awful viewers who are really getting in the way. Like, that's not how I designed the lava section, but I'm not gonna get into detail here. Besides, it's already over. Without accidents, luckily. Next up, icy teams. And surprise, surprise, you're going to see an icy path, which works differently in 1.2 than in older versions. I'm not really gonna explain it because I think I managed to do it at some other point in the past. And finally, snowballs. For which, depending on your order in this level, you might trivialize them with a Fire Mario power-up because they are melted by the fireballs. But as a speedrunner, you should also get used to just passing around them and just not getting hit. The electrical section with the electric scuttle box, which we would see in courses 9 and 13, I believe, neither of which are in this speedrun. Which are basically buffed scuttle box, because they're more reactionally speedy and can jump higher when they do their launch attack.
Yeah, and also there's a skip for this tower to go a bit faster, but I've never got around to figure out how to do it.
Yep, actually I think there's like 2 or 3 wall kick skips that just allow you to like skip one full rotation of the climb. Which I also don't properly use in 80 star because I've kind of not updated my routes and movement in a while. I should do it, but at this point it takes too much effort for me, that's my excuse. Or in short, CBA. And finally the cloud section with Fire Mario. Yep, that totally makes sense.
Remember what we did in
need Fire Mario
the underground that's slow.
For a grand total of 1 chandelier.
Alright, so
there might be a way to skip it, but
pressing the 4 switches is gonna spawn this star here. I'm gonna collect it for safety, because this star is a flag that the game uses to tell if you have done all 4 switches. If I don't collect this star and die in the final fight, I have to do the whole 4 towers all over again.
Yep, it's basically a safety star. You are also allowed to obtain this star in 80 star, and even though you have 81, it is still counted as an 80 star speedrun, just no differences there. Just a little trade-off of time for grabbing the star, I suppose.
Time for a final fight.
Weird enough, like he made other triggers safe in the game that are not tied to stars, but he couldn't make those 4 switches safe if you don't collect the star, which I wonder why, but that's a topic for another day. Here's our final boss. Again, Shay with slightly more polygons than the 2D artists over here. With some definitely peculiar custom attacks. Like these platforms which allow us to get to him. Interestingly enough, if you're looking towards him, like is the case right now, the platforms will be concentrated like this and you can just keep moving and hopping forward. If you are not looking towards him, the platforms will actually be scattered more around the level and you won't have a clear structured path to get up there. Second phase, basically it's not an auto-scroller, but it's a basically scripted section because you gotta run away from him for a while and just not get hit,
time-based.
but you cannot speed it up.
Yeah.
Yep. At least in 1.2, Kazu shortened it too. I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, it's a sizable difference, like probably 30 to 15 seconds or something.
So we're gonna
get we get the Goomba Bros over here with some war dialogue because apparently they were also caught in the crossfire by our villain guy. Because they were also villains trying to steal Peach and whatnot. They even stole a star to make their second appearance and be that powerful. But now they were also imprisoned, so yep, that's a bummer. Mario accidentally landed in them, and now they are infusing him with the power of the stars they collected, and now he's gonna go Super Saiyan. Reduced gravity, higher jumps, regeneration, that's the stuff. Unfortunately, you still gotta be careful because this boss he has a couple of attacks, or like all of his attacks deal like 4 HP of damage.
See, 3 or 4 HP. I've died to getting stuck under it.
Yeah, there's a Joe attack, there's a meteorite attack, there's probably something else that I doubt we're going to see at this point because the fight was nerfed with better camera and also I don't know if he nerfed the number of hits. I think
It's
so,
5.
but I think also you did 3 hits. It's still 5. Ah, okay. Maybe I dissuaded him or something. Maybe I did something stupid in his
Also,
chat while
the
he
ground
was
is just a suggestion.
contemplating the hits. Yeah, right. Yep. This guy can just dig through ground as he pleases.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it makes a difference for the fight as we saw just here. If he decides to dig his head underground, even if in the correct position to ground out, it's over. You're not getting the hit because you're hitting the ground instead. So, yeah, this is a little bit of a notice me senpai boss fight because when he notices you and lunges at you, that's when he's the most vulnerable to the ground pound attacks. But, well, it's actually kind of difficult to manipulate him. He's very whimsical with his behavior. So, unfortunately, it went as it did. And again, this boss fight could go way worse than it did.
Alright,
But
so
here we
time
go,
to
we
watch
save
credits.
Peach.
Because we have to watch
And
them.
yes, the timer actually ends after the credits because of 2 text box inputs at the end of the credits where you are still technically playing the game. I think at least that's how the original rule got invented. We can overrule it, except almost no one cares about this game, so there's no real incentive for the mods to change the rule and retroactively retime all the old runs.
So thanks for GG's everyone, hope you enjoyed this run. Which really went pretty well, better than I expected, so crushed the estimate. And pretty much putting the schedule back on track now that I'm seeing.
Yep, let's see how we're on the schedule. Oh, perfect, we are back on track exactly. Awesome. And this is going to be a sub 1 even with the credits, so
yeah, it's gonna be a sub 1.
Pretty good pacer. Yep. I mean, this is probably the first run of 45-star ever, or at least the first public run, depending on whether you streamed a 10 previously.
Yeah, I did a few runs. My PVs are for 54.
Oh, I see. I wonder if I should try to pick it up, because, well, intermediate category, you know. Also, it's kind of going to be a meme, and we're gonna wreak havoc on the leaderboards, but that's another topic. Yeah, in any case, shoutouts to all the people who Skelox also spelled correctly. Gonna shout out this separately.
Yep.
Shoutouts to all the people
Also,
who are already credited for
and also shoutouts to
possible.
the guy on the bottom left, Aglav, for the based Project 64 fix-ups for the emulator. So in, back when I first started on this game, the game lagged like crazy in several sections, but after the fix-ups, all the lag in this game got fixed.
Yep, use Agua tools, they're good for your wife, no matter whether you're playing wrong hacks or making them or just engaging with them anyhow. Also make sure to follow DJ Tala for more Last Impact speedruns and more speedruns of many other wrong hacks, especially the long ones that we have seen already several times in this SRS event.
By
the way, final inputs. We're gonna have cake. That's why we waited for the credits. And time.
57:29. Pretty good.
GG's. This game also has its own in-game timer, which it works somehow. It never matches the real time. That's what we know for sure. It
not sure how
much, I think, the
in-game time
in-game
is
time
measured
of life split.
Maybe just active gameplay, like not during the animations or the star selection screens and all that. Only when you can actually move the man.
Yep. Finally, I'm gonna use the moment to quickly shield myself. This has also been SSRM2023 on commentary, the other Last Impact fanatic. I may or may not come to this soon, depending on how I'm feeling after SRM and how much work I have. And finally, stay tuned for the other event that I will host, which is later tonight at some time, towards the end of the marathon, with the game show of Wrong Hack Feud.
Yeah,
hope
you enjoyed this run. We're gonna move on to the next one, which is Release Your 70-star by Osef, the Blue Man.
Hell yeah, you don't want to miss that one unless you get sick from high speeds and toads.
Yeah.